Hey guys, so as promised, here is the video of the questions, a lot of the questions that were on the transgender panel that I was on Monday afternoon. So, I'm going to divide this into 3 videos because there's more than 30 questions, so I'm going to go ahead and divide it up, that way we're not stuck here doing a 45-minute, hour-long video. And that way, none of you who really want to know the answers to the questions aren't being stuck watching said video for that length of time. So, first one is, what everyday things did you go through pre-T that most people wouldn't know about? Did you feel as if every day you had to wear a mask? The answer is yes. Every day was literally like putting on a mask. I wasn't able to be myself because I was trying at the time so hard to be something that I wasn't, that I didn't have a choice but to put on that mask and go about my everyday business. How do you respond when people interviewing you only want to focus on the surgery? I haven't personally ran into this issue as of yet, but my policy is honesty. If people want to talk about the surgery, then I'm willing to do so. But when I've reached my level of personal comfort, then we're done. I'm not gonna go into anything more than what I'm willing to give. So, do most healthcare providers cover the care necessary for any procedures that transgender people receive? If not, is there anything underway to change that? Again, I'm not an expert on this by any means, so I'm not entirely sure the correct answer to that question. But from what I understand, there are several insurance policies out there that will cover trans costs. My own included for some things. It just depends on the procedure, as well as the plan itself. So, what is the difference between transgender, transsexual, and transvestite? I love this question. It's really simple. Transgender people are people who identify with the opposite gender of what they were born. I am transgender because I was born female, but I identify as male. Transsexual is people who are sexually attracted to transgendered people. And then transvestite is just a really big fancy or trashy word for crossdresser. However you want to look at that. Do you have any issues with the LGBT community? No, I do not. I know that there are several trans people out there who have had issues of being exiled, so to speak, from the community, just because they are no longer considered gay or lesbian, which some people who are trans are also gay or lesbian. Some are not. So it really just depends. Like I said, for me being a straight man, I don't have any issues. Most of, if not all of my LGBT friends who know about me are completely fine. They're nothing but supportive. In fact, one of them was going to be a groomsman at my wedding, but due to a new job, she's no longer able to do so. So, anyway, when did you first feel like you were born the wrong gender? This began at a very early age. If I had known what it was like, and let me see if I can explain that better. I knew something was different about me my entire life. I just was never able to pinpoint what that difference was. And because I was so sheltered growing up, I didn't have any access to the knowledge that I have access to now about being gay and lesbian and trans and all of that. So I was stuck knowing that I was different. I just didn't know what it was that made me different. So I first knew that I was born in the wrong gender for sure when probably about the time I had my first girlfriend. When I realized that I was not happy just being a lesbian. There was something way more to it than just that. So that was when I knew. I was about 19 or 20. How is being transgender different than being homosexual? Okay. Homosexual is you are one gender attracted to the same gender. If you're female, you're attracted to females. If you're male, you're attracted to males. Transgender is you identify with the opposite gender of what you were born. Again, I was born female, I identify as male. So, that's the difference. Are there any questions that people ask you that you hate or are offended by? Don't ask my birth name. If you don't already know it, it's not anybody's business, and here's why. I am trying so hard to live my life as a man that when people want to know my birth name and things about me prior to my transition, in my eyes, they're looking at me as less than a man, if that makes any sense. I know it's weird and it's kind of hard to follow, but that's the way I feel about it. So, that is probably the worst question you can ask somebody who's trans is what is your birth name? Don't do that. Did you ever doubt your decision during the process? Absolutely. I didn't really doubt yeah, I did. I doubted what I was doing based on the wrong reasons. It wasn't ever that I was unhappy with my decision to transition. It wasn't ever that I was unhappy with where my life was going or anything like that while on testosterone. It was nothing like that at all. My reasoning for doubting was family-based. You know, is this worth losing my mom? Is this worth, you know, missing my sisters growing up? That kind of thing. So it was never anything personally for me, other than, you know, missing out on my family was basically how that was for me. What kind of discrimination do you face? There's a lot, but I have been fortunate enough to not really be that discriminated against. I think the biggest thing right now that pisses me off is I may or may not be able to pee in public due to these, you know, crazy, stupid laws that they're trying to get passed. So that's really been the most annoying thing, other than, you know, having to transfer jobs because one of my doucheberry coworkers decided that he was going to out me to all of my customers. So other than that, I really haven't had any issues with being discriminated against or anything like that, fortunately. And last one for this video, how many times did you struggle with the idea of transitioning before you felt confident in your decision? I went back and forth on this for 10 years. Needless to say, having said that, this was not something that I just woke up one day and said, you know what, I'm going to be a guy today and for the rest of my life. It wasn't like that at all. There was a lot of pain, there was a lot of tears, there was a lot of struggle, there was a lot of anger, there was a lot of guilt, there was a lot of frustration, there was a lot of looking inward, basically, just trying to figure out, you know, was this worth it, was this what I really wanted to do? So it is completely normal for guys to, and trans women I'm sure, to go back and forth, because it is a big decision. It's not one that you can go back on. So on that note, I'm going to sign off of this video, go ahead and make the next two, and then I will post them. So I will see you in a few, I guess.